Hey, what's up everyone? It's me, Cameron, and I just wrapped up week 4 and month 1 of my 6-month GMAT test prep. So I currently am following the 3-month beginner plan on Magoosh. This plan still requires me to do something pretty much every single day. It's 6 days of work, and then on the 7th day, you have a break. So during this last month, I've been able to get exposure to all types of problems on the exam. My exposure to these different types of problems is both through the video lessons that Magoosh has, as well as the practice problems, both on Magoosh as well as in the GMAT Official Prep book. So there are a few different types of problem sets on the GMAT. The first is the quantitative. So these are categorized as problem solving and data sufficiency questions. There's also a verbal section, and this includes reading comprehension, critical reasoning, as well as sentence correction. There are 2 other sections of the GMAT, but they don't necessarily go into your composite score, and these are the analytical writing assessment as well as the integrated reasoning section. So like I said, I've completed problems both on the Magoosh online prep program as well as the questions that were provided for me in this book. At this point, I have finished over 400 questions, so feeling pretty good. Definitely putting the hours in and putting in a lot of effort. So in the video today, I'm just going to quickly talk to you about how I feel about my current program, as well as the actual scoring that I'm doing on these practice problems that I'm doing. So overall, I feel pretty proud that I've gotten to this point. I know I posted the video and I was talking about my grand plan to do so well on the GMAT and put in all this effort. And now that I'm a month in, I really have followed through on that plan. It definitely does take a lot of discipline to, work on this every single day. The typical day of this consists of about 45 minutes to an hour of video lessons each day, as well as 24 to 32 practice problems. All said and done, it typically takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours every single day. I do work a full-time job, so I try to get as much done as I can before I start work in the morning when I'm working from home. But days that I go into the office, I inevitably have to come back, and it takes pretty much the full 2 hours when I'm home from work. So the fact that this has taken up pretty much 2 hours of every single day for the last month makes me very proud that I've been able to stay so disciplined to it. In my life, I just have so much going on with respect to work and this YouTube channel and some other side projects I'm working on. So the fact that I've been able to stay disciplined and make sure that I get this done every single day so far, I'm very proud of. Also, the fact that I've done it already now 4 weeks is a good sign. I think scientifically, if you do something for 6 weeks, it becomes a habit and then it's harder to break. So I guess I still have a few weeks before that happens, but overall feeling very confident that I can continue at this pace moving forward. And again, overall, I know I still have such a long way to go, and trust me, it's definitely a very tough process. So I'm trying to just take it one day at a time. So now to talk a little bit more about my scoring. Each day I would track in a Notion workbook that I created the exact problems that I was doing, as well as how I was scoring. So I'm not gonna lie, when I started off, I started by only doing the easy problems on Magoosh. Magoosh allows you to kind of segment and filter what questions you want to do. So of course, I was right at the beginning, so I wanted to do the easy problems. Because these problems were easier, I understandably had some pretty high scores for these. For a lot of the problem solving questions, I was getting hundreds. I was doing very well on a lot of the verbal things, but just doing easy questions isn't necessarily going to get you better. It's important to mention that the actual GMAT exam is adaptive. So this means that the computer actually changes your next question based on your previous performance. It's not like the ACT or the SAT where they give you a set of problems and they don't change. The questions on the GMAT are completely computer-based and they change based off of how you perform. So typically the test gets much harder as you go. That's why realistically it doesn't help that much to practice the easy questions, because I'll maybe get 1 or 2 of those to start off, and then they would just progressively get harder for the rest of the exam. So in the last week or so, I pretty much finished up all of the easy questions that they had available on Magoosh. So instead, I decided to start doing the adaptive questions. So that means it should kind of look at my past performance and give me a question based off of that. But Magoosh pretty much just gives me straight hard questions, so that's nice. These questions obviously are hard, they're very challenging. And some of them are especially challenging just because the format is unlike questions that you may have solved previously. Particularly the data sufficiency question approaches questions and requires you to solve them in a way that honestly we haven't been tested before up to this point in, standardized education. So the way data sufficiency works is that they give you a question and then 2 statements that follow it. Then they ask you to pick between 5 answer choices. You can see these on the screen, but this question is the same every time. It requires you to think of the problem and the solution at a very holistic and top-level perspective. These questions are nice, I guess, in the terms of they don't require you to actually go through the calculations and solve them, but they still require you to have a good understanding of what you would need to do in order to solve it, and that's typically how you make the decision of your answer choice. Another thing that's been challenging for me is that there's a lot of questions about geometry, and I took geometry my sophomore year of high school and haven't been exposed to it since then. So questions asking you to find the area of circles and different laws of angles, all of that is kind of very deep in my past, so that's taken me a while to kind of get back up to speed. I haven't yet taken a practice exam, but I think I have one coming up in about a week or 2. So after I do that, that'll really give me a good picture of where I stand and what I need to work on moving forward. But Magoosh currently does give me kind of a range of scores that I could get based off of the questions I've completed in the past. Honestly, my performance this last week has been pretty terrible just because I was getting straight hard questions. So I feel like that definitely has skewed the range, but on the high end of the range, it puts me at a 690 for the composite score, which is still very short of what I hope to score. But the fact that, I'm performing very poorly in my head and I'm still scoring very well, I think is a good sign. And again, the fact that I'm already working on the hard problems and I'm only 1 month in is, again, a confidence booster. I just fully believe that if I continue working on the hard problems for another 5 months, which is my plan, by the end of those 5 months, I will be extremely comfortable with these hard questions and with the format and the different content. And I just feel very confident that by the end of this, I will feel very comfortable. Again, like I said before, I'm really just focused on taking it one day at a time. It's easy to kind of get discouraged if you go through a ton of hard questions and you don't score very well. But it's important for me to remember, okay, this is one day, this is getting me closer to that end goal. I'm not expected to score 100% right now. It's okay to get a 50%. What matters is that I'm learning and growing and overall just getting 1% better every single day. So that's gonna wrap up the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope a month from now I can also add some value and hopefully have some better scores going for me. But as always, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions at all, you can reach out to me on Instagram right here, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.